So I live in Malaysia, and I'm proud to say that there are lots of talented people living in my country. When I talk about talent, I don't just mean academic talent, by the way. I mean leadership, I mean charisma, I mean the ability to lead people to achieve a vision that they cannot see. What is it that makes a person become like that? Is it nature or is it nurture? Now, while I don't have a conclusive answer for that, I do think that it's somewhere in the middle. So today we'll be interviewing Miss Gha Yuan, one of the co-founders of the STEM Bulletin, one of the numerous incredible student initiatives around Malaysia. By watching this interview, you'll see that, well, watch the interview. It is my honor to have here with me Miss Gha Yuan. We're here at US Apps, and yeah, could you introduce yourself a little bit?
Okay, so hi, my name is Gha Yuan. I'm an incoming freshman at Yale University, hoping to major in physics.
How's that song go? Bulldogs, you know, like admissions.
I think it's like rah rah rah, Eli. Oh my god, I'm not a true Yale. I'm kidding. I will learn the song.
You didn't just get into Yale, right? Like you got to like a couple of other schools as well.
Oh yeah. I shotgun to all 8 IBs plus Stanford, Duke, UCLA, UC Berkeley, and Maryland. So I got accepted into Yale, Princeton, Dartmouth, Brown, Columbia, Stanford. Waitlisted Cornell.
Iron Woman.
Rejected UPenn. Rejected Harvard. Rejected UCLA. Waitlisted Berkeley. Rejected Duke, and I never heard back from Maryland.
Thank you for sharing that. Maybe could you tell us a little bit about your like academic background, maybe like where you went to school before you eventually decided to commit to Yale?
Okay, so I did SPM at Sri KDU Secondary School.
Ah, okay.
So I was the batch that was affected by COVID the most. So our SPM got postponed by 5 months. And that's why I kind of took like a gap year. It wasn't intentional, but it's just that because I missed January intake on that year, because I think our SPM was pushed to February. Mm-hmm. So I had to take the September intake of that year. So I had like a whole 6 months. When I was supposed to graduate in like November, I graduated in like March instead. Ooh. So there was just that gap. And because it was COVID and all, I didn't really do much in that 6 months. I did do part-time jobs just for fun. I think I worked at this French fine dining place for like a month. I learned a lot of good skills, like different cutleries, how to arrange them. That was an interesting experience.
Sure, yeah.
And then I also worked at a farmer's market. I know how to pick vegetables and fruits now.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's like hashtag training for Yale.
Yeah. Then I began A-levels at the Alice Smith School. I was fortunate enough to be awarded a full scholarship to study A-levels there. I did physics, maths, further maths, and computer science. So I took the 2-year course, and I finished my A-levels I think a month and a half back.
Any extracurriculars you did that you remember really well?
Over the past year, I've started a few projects. So I've co-founded the STEM Bulletin, and I also founded NoteDiff. Yeah, that's, I do sports from time to time. I used to do competitive swimming, and then recently I did competitive volleyball. And
oh my gosh,
yeah.
You are insane. You're like an iron woman.
No, volleyball, I picked it up last year, so...
Just casually oh, what's up? I'm gonna go right ahead, pick up a sport right here.
I mean, my school didn't have people, so,
okay.
Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, and I graduated, and I'm off to Yale now.
Congratulations. Amazing, wow. Well, congrats on your accomplishments, and if you got into Yale, then I'm sure that your academic accomplishments are nothing to shake a finger at. Maybe will you share a little bit about things do you take the SAT, and how do you do for that maybe, or? Okay,
so I'll just start from SPM, because that's what I submitted to the States as well when applying. So I did 11 subjects. I got 10 A+ and 1 A. The A was in EST. It's English for Science and Technology. I don't think that subject exists anymore. I'm not sure.
It doesn't exist
They
anymore.
took it out from the new syllabus. And then for A-levels, I applied with my predicted grade, so it was 4 A stars.
Wow.
I do not have my actual grades yet. I don't know how that's gonna turn out. I do not have high hopes for it. But
Alright.
Yeah, and then I did the standardized test as well. I started off with the SAT. I did horribly. You wanna know what score I got?
Okay.
I got a 30-90. It was...
That's a good score.
But not... For IBs, you need 50 14,
Yeah.
50 there, right? So like, it wasn't like I know it was like an okay, like a good score, but like for the schools that I wanted to, I was below average.
Yeah.
Yeah, like way below average. So I knew I could not submit those scores. So I tried the ACT. I actually did it twice. The first time I did it, I got a 31 composite, and it was again below average for the schools I was targeting. And then I did it the second time. I finally was lucky enough to get 35. So I did submit that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yours seems to be a story of persistence. Maybe can you share a little bit about like what was motivating you at the time to push forward?
Okay, so I think the mistake that I did actually was by starting way too late. Like I only looked at the SATs, like I took it in January last year, and I looked at it in December, like a month before. So before that, I didn't even know what the SAT was. So I recommend like starting earlier, definitely. So I did not do as well as I should have to apply to the unis I wanted to in that SAT sitting. So then I tried the ACT because they do have like free tests for both SAT and ACT on their respective websites. So ACT, I tried it at home. I got like a safe score in order to apply to the schools that I was targeting. So I was like, okay, this is worth a shot. And the first time I did it, I prepared for like a month-ish, like just grinding past papers. Okay. And like, I don't want to use this as an excuse, but the first time I took the test, Nick, like I just blanked. So I couldn't answer. I ran out of time. I just guessed on everything, and that kind of like it was a domino effect. So for science, I just like completely lost it. So I think the biggest takeaways from that is like when you are approaching like these, when you're preparing to take these kind of tests, like you have to be calm. Try to like tell yourself it's okay, and if you don't know a question, don't let it mess up the rest of the sections. Like I let that happen to me. So on my second sitting for the ACT, I told myself, I need to like do it calmly and try not to panic. Like because the ACT it has a time pressure. Like you have to answer like this. So it's you gotta practice your speed, but you could do it. Even though you're doing it like quickly, you need to do it calmly. I think that's very important. So you don't blank out during the exams.
I see.
Yeah.
When a student is applying to the US, of course, it's not just about numbers, right? Of course, like numbers are a big part of that, and like they're something that people can't deny. But of course, like there's this notion of like holistic education, and
the US education system.
US education system. Can I ask what drew you to the US as a place to pursue your higher education?
For me, I really admire the flexibility of the education system that most American colleges offer, because they call it the liberal arts curriculum. So I'll use my case as an example. So I am planning to major in physics. So I applied to both the UK and the US. So in the UK, I also applied for physics, and if I were to be there, I would only do physics and math modules. Like most of the unis there, it will only be this route. But when it comes to like US, I'm also allowed to like learn languages. I could take up any other classes as long as I meet the curriculum course credits per semester. So I could take like any languages I want to. I could take like subjects like economics, anthropology, psychology. There's no limit to it, while at the same time like doing physics as well.
Right.
So that's awesome. And I know that, some people, they do just prefer to go down that, like just hard STEM route. They do not want to learn any, like humanities and all that. But I feel like I see it as a way to develop interpersonal skills. And it's also nice to learn about what's going on in the world as well. And if you take subjects like fine arts or like architecture, you learn to admire the beauty. It opens up your eyes to the beauty in the world. It makes you appreciate life even more. I think that's just my personal take. Okay. So that's why I think that's the beauty of the American education system, I feel.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you wrote about when you eventually wrote to Yale for your college essay?
So for my Common App, I won't go into detail because it was quite personal for me. So, but I mentioned about my personal background and my identity. I wrote a whole narrative story on that, and then I tied it into it became, I showcased that was the reason why I did the things I did and why I'm continuing to do these activities and volunteering in my community. So
amazing.
I think from the feedback I heard from other people, they said that through my essay, it was really clear that there was a reason and a drive and a passion for why I did the things I did. So that was like their
Wow.
main takeaway from the essay, and I think that's very, very important as well. Like it's applicable to, like, you know, if anyone else is like in the midst of like writing their essays or like just trying to start, like I think it's very important to think about why you do something and why you want to. Like the reason has to come within yourself, because
I see.
as long as you have yourself, you will have yourself for the rest of your life, right? And as long as you have that reason does not go away. And because if you depend on like external, like the admission officers can tell as well, if your reason comes from an external factor, it's not as solid
Right.
as it is when it comes from within.
Now we're coming towards the end of this interview. Do you have a particular thing that you're going to be doing, like just immediately right after you set foot on American soil? Have you even been to America before?
No, I've never been to the States. Yeah.
Oh, maiden voyage. Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
it's very exciting, and the thing that I'm looking forward to most is, I think, just having a good time, like overall, like in general, and that could be like in terms of academics. I'm so excited to learn like new physics concepts and like new mathematical concepts, and like even like exploring humanities as well, because I never had the chance to in like A levels, and I barely took any humanities subjects in SPM as
I
well.
see. Wow.
Yeah, so that's super
Yale's
super
gonna be amazing
exciting.
for that.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
cool.
I'm really excited to meet new people, because the furthest I've been was Australia. Like I've never been to like the UK or the US, so I'll be in like a new environment and I'll be exposed to like the new culture, new people. I think that's just super super exciting, because yeah, I believe that it's important to put yourself out there so that you can learn from others, you know, because different culture, different upbringing, you can try to like understand other people's perspectives, and that will give you like a whole new world view.
Thank you so much for that. Do you have a particular hope, dream, or wish that you hope will be something that you can accomplish somehow or another through going to the United States?
In like more general terms, I really really hope that being there will force me to go out of my comfort zone and just put myself out there. And why I say this is because, you know, like I want to start like projects on my own, as well as like venture into like just like startups or like passion projects. And one thing that I'm super super like keen on doing, I really want to start like a sustainable kind of project or like business that contributes to like the underprivileged community here in terms of like accessible education, because that's what I really really want to preach. Accessible education, I feel like it's super super important and it's not addressed well enough.
Yes.
So that's just
Amazing.
what I hope.
Okay, one more question that I
Yeah,
do
sure,
have,
no problem.
before we end. So, do you have any advice for the younger generation, or anything that you'd like to share to the younger people, the people who have come after you?
Ooh, advice. If you have a dream, go for it. If it scares you, then the dream is big enough. It should scare you. If your dream, like it's a cheesy quote, but it's true. Like if you try to
Amazing advice.
think about it and you're not scared, you're not dreaming big enough. And do it, you know, like you've only got one life to live, and make sure to live your life for yourself and not for anyone else.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Amazing. Do you have anything that you want to share, just in general with the audience? Like anything,
Should
like
I
projects,
talk
maybe
about
like
the
things that
essay
you wanna...
booklet?
Go for it.
Yeah, okay,
Go
so if you're in the midst of like applying to American colleges right now and you're like struggling to write essays or you need like inspiration, I published my all my essays to all 8 Ivy Leagues, including the waitlisted and rejected ones. It's for free on NoteDiff. Like go on Instagram, type out NOTEDIFF. And yeah, the booklet's there, it's on the website, it's for free. Feel free to like read through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Gha
you
Yuan.
so much. Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Thank
okay.
you.
Thank you.
All the best.